Before we start, I would like you to hit that red subscribe button so that you never miss out on any of our videos. Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back to Peak Celeb. Boy Meets World is a very popular show from the 90s that found a new audience when reruns aired on the Disney Channel. It then inspired a reboot called Girl Meets World. Now 3 of the former cast members are doing a Rewatch podcast called Pod Meets World. Surprisingly, they have been very honest when it comes to discussing the show, both with their opinions of it as well as telling the behind-the-scenes stories from filming the series back in the 90s. Daniel Fishel, Ryder Strong, and Will Friedle have been rewatching the series for the first time since it aired, and listeners have definitely gotten an earful. Not everything was hunky-dory when it came to filming the series. However, the cast does claim to love the show and love being on it for the most part. They are also thankful to know each other and to have each other as friends. Let's find out what listeners have learned from listening to Pod Meets World. Number 8. Daniel Fishel was in the original Topanga. Daniel Fisher was cast in a smaller role when she made her way onto the set of Boy Meets World in the first season of the show. Another girl had been cast in the role of Topanga, but because that girl failed to deliver one of her lines properly, they decided to let her go. They had to quickly recast the role, so they had Daniel audition for it. Turns out her audition went well, and they offered her the role. Number 7. Daniel Fishel was threatened to be fired. While Fishel was rehearsing the role of Topanga for her very first episode, series creator Michael Jacobs threatened to fire her if she didn't deliver her lines in a completely different way the following day. He had a ton of notes for her, one of which was that she spoke too quickly, so she stayed up late that night practicing her lines with her mom. Fortunately for Fishel, Jacobs was impressed with her delivery the following day and she was not fired. Number 6. The writers' room was heavily divided. During season 1 of Boy Meets World, the writers' room was heavily divided. There was the Michael Jacobs camp and there was the April Kelly camp. Kelly ended up leaving the series after the first season, and she has declined the invitation to come and talk about her experience on the podcast. The series changed drastically between the first and second seasons as well. Number 5. Ryder Strong never watched Boy Meets World. Other than a good chunk of the first season, Ryder Strong never made an effort to watch episodes of Boy Meets World throughout his life, as it was too painful for him to watch himself on screen. He would nitpick everything he did, and after the thrill of watching a good chunk of the first season with his family on Friday nights when it aired, he decided he could no longer tune in. He now enjoys watching the series for the first time with his son, Indy. Number 4. Bill Lawrence wrote an episode of Boy Meets World. Many fans may already be aware that the super successful creator of Scrubs and Ted Lasso wrote an episode of Boy Meets World during the first season. What many fans may not know is that Lawrence was not a member of the show's writing staff, and that his spec script was chosen for a single episode, and that script was completely torn apart by the writer's room. By the time they reached tape night, Lawrence didn't recognize the script at all, and it had been completely changed. Number 3. Daniel Fishel had a crush on Ryder Strong. Fishel admitted in an episode of the podcast that during the first couple seasons of the show, she had a crush on Strong. Strong was completely dumbfounded and shocked at this revelation, as Fishel had kept her crush a secret for 30 years. It was also revealed that she once dated Home Improvement's Jonathan Taylor Thomas, as well as Matthew Lawrence, when he was on Boy Meets World. Number 2. It is unknown who named Topanga Lawrence. It is still a bit of a mystery regarding who came up with the name Topanga Lawrence. They've asked each of the writers that have come on the podcast, and each of them has a different story. It is rumored that Bill Lawrence claimed Topanga's last name came from him, as Kelly wanted to hire him as a member of the writing staff, but Jacobs ended up hiring someone else instead. Number 1. Lindsay Price had a crush on Will Friedle. Lindsay Price guest starred in a very special episode of Boy Meets World in one of the first episodes of the series, and the cast was so impressed with her acting chops they invited her on the podcast. She played one of Eric's girlfriends who was called a racial slur at the mall. While on the podcast, Price revealed that she totally had a crush on Friedle when she was on the show. Friedle was flabbergasted because he had also had a crush on her back then. What could have been, right? This brings us to the end of our video. I hope you enjoyed it. Hit like if you did, and don't forget to subscribe to our channel so that you don't miss any of our videos in the future. Also, watch the 2 videos that are on your screen because I'm sure you love them. With that, I'll see you in the next video.